Welcome to Weekly Stuff and Things with Mathew Ruybal. I'm Mathew Ruybal, and this is episode 16. It's been a while since our last full episode of the show. A lot of stuff and things have happened since then. We moved across the city to this lovely location over here in northwest Austin, and my wife and I had a baby, which is really cool. He's about 9 months old. You'll see him on the show at some point, I'm sure. But now it's time to get back to these things and this stuff. And so here we go, episode 16, a new format for the show that I hope you like. Each week I will be showcasing you the items of topics of conversation for the stuff and the things of the episode that you're going to be watching right now. And you can click through if you want to skip ahead to any of those specific topics, or if you want to skip past something you don't care about. And I hope you'll watch the whole show by sitting there and looking beautiful like you're doing right now. But if you need to skip through, you can. There's also another new button down over there in the corner. You'll see it's the All the Stuff and Things button that will bring you back to here so that you can choose a different topic should you require that at some point during the video. Make sure if you like the video, or if you know someone who would be interested in what we're talking about, or hate me incredibly, they'll probably like to watch. Subscribe, and you can follow me on Twitter at RuibalRants, as well as on the Facebooks at Weekly Stuff and Things. You can find me there. A lot of stuff to talk about this week, so let's just get going now. Did you choose one yet? Choose one? Or just sit there. Sit there for a second. We'll give the impatient, the slow people a second. Some people are indecisive. I'm not saying you, but some people are indecisive. The show's going to start in just a second. We'll give them one more second. Ready? Let's do this. I'm a fan of Guy Ritchie and his films, and I'm sad that I haven't seen anything from him recently. And I just discovered, I don't know how this slipped by me, but I just discovered that he's working on a new film. I'm happy and sad, and I'm really not sure how to feel exactly right now. You tell me what you think. If you recall, there was a movie, 80s, I think? The Man from U.N.C.L.E., U.N.C.L.E. being an acronym for a secret organization. Guy Ritchie is remaking The Man from U.N.C.L.E., and he's writing and directing it, which is the positive thing here. Because if he was just, the director of it, that would be okay, I guess. I don't know how I feel about that. I really like when Guy Ritchie writes and directs. That's his bread and butter. So the fact that he's writing this bodes well for it. And we've seen him handle other known topic matter before with Sherlock Holmes, and I thought he did a really good job with both of those films. I don't know that we need a remake of Man from U.N.C.L.E., really. And it seems like an odd project to me that he's doing this, but because he is writing and directing, that does have hold some sort of excitement for me. So I'll of course see it because I see everything that Guy makes because he's such a solid filmmaker. What do you guys think? Do we need a Man from U.N.C.L.E. remake? How do you feel about Guy Ritchie handling it? I think it'll probably be pretty awesome because of that, and that's the only reason I would probably even go see it, knowing that Guy Ritchie's a part of it. Are you guys going to see it? Do you care? Talk to me. Hit me up in the comments. This is real life here, guys. Real life. Okay, here we go. What am I talking about? I don't know. Oh, that. So, I probably should have made this a whole separate section because the next few things I'm going to talk about under the movies category all relate to one movie franchise, and it's like the movie franchise, and Star Wars. So, for those of you who don't know this, Episode 7 comes out in December. It takes place after Episode 6, which is Return of the Jedi, by 30 years. So there's a 30-year gap between Return of the Jedi and Episode 7, which drops in December. And then every other year after that, we'll be getting another, for the next 5 years or whatever, we'll get the next in the series. So this year is Episode 7, and in 2 years, Episode 8, and then 2 years after that, Episode 9. In between those years, so next year, we'll be getting a film called Rogue One, and it is about the team of spies who stole the plans to the Death Star. There's reportedly no Jedi and all that stuff. It's a hard war action movie, which is really cool. There's a rumor surfacing that Darth Vader may make an appearance in Rogue One, which is interesting because it adds this element for these normal bipedal creatures who are stealing the Death Star plans. You have this boss of Darth Vader who is super scary if you don't know how to wield a laser sword. And even if you do, he's still scary. And this is like good mode because this is like before Episode 4. So this is when Vader was like full hunt and kill Jedi mode. So he's going to be just vicious. And so these spies have to circumnavigate, the Empire to get the plans. Now, if you add Vader into that equation, that makes things really interesting. So that's a cool rumor. We don't know if it's true or not, but I hope it is because I think that could be a pretty cool element. The rest of the things I want to talk about movies are all Star Wars, so if you're over the Star Wars things, you might want to jump out. But otherwise, stick around. The other thing that is interesting is the announcement of the next side Star Wars movie, the one that comes out in the year between Episodes 8 and 9. They've just announced that it's going to be, in fact, a Han Solo origin story. We kind of all had an idea that that's what they were going to do. Cool. Whatever. Who's going to play him? That's what I want to know. I think it's a great idea, and it could be really awesome. My first thought would be Chris Pratt, but Chris Pratt's physically, I think, too different from Harrison Ford. I feel like, I mean, maybe he's not. I feel like he's kind of like too tall. Doesn't seem like the right guy. My bid would be someone like Ryan Gosling. I think Ryan Gosling would make a really kick-ass young Han Solo. Hey, cicadas, shut up. Texas. They haven't announced that, of course, yet, so we don't know who's going to play him, but I would love to see Ryan Gosling or a complete no-name. I think a complete no-name would be a really, really good call here. So anyways, what do you guys think about that? Who do you think should play the young Han Solo between episodes 7 and 9, or 8 and 9? That's really exciting. And the last thing I want to talk about Star Wars-wise, movie-wise, is this other rumor that's circulating. I saw this on Ain't It Cool News, that Donnie Yen, who is, you know, one of the most badass humans to ever live on the planet, might be in one of the Star Wars movies. The rumor is that he's going to be in episode 7, and I don't think that's probably true at all. But Rogue One, maybe? Or the Han Solo movie? Or maybe the rumored Boba Fett movie? That could be awesome. I mean, really, Donnie Yen could do anything. You could make him a Sith, you could make him a Jedi, you could make him neither one, and he could just be Donnie Yen in space, because that'd be incredibly awesome. So, yeah, a lot of really great Star Wars stuff. I'll probably in the future have a completely separate Star Wars segment to deal with just with Star Wars stuff, because there's going to be a lot of it in the next, next months, weeks, months, years, and whatnot moving forward. So, stay tuned for all that stuff. Very excited.
Oh, you think you can snack, you piece of
Gaming. If you know me, you know how much I love gaming, and E3 was just at the beginning of June, and they announced everything. I mean, every big franchise you can think of is coming out with a new game this fall or at some point in, in the next year. So there's lots and lots of stuff to talk about, but we don't have time to talk about all of them, so I just wanted to mention a few things that I thought were interesting from then and from recently as well. The first of those being a game called Solus, which is an Xbox One exclusive. Now, I have kind of jumped ship from Microsoft a bit as of late. The new Xbox One's okay, but the PS4 is incredible, and I am madly in love with it. I still play my Xbox, but not very often, and I feel like now I'm going to probably pick up everything that's cross-platform on the PlayStation, and only be getting things on my Xbox that are exclusives, like this title. The developer, I'll read what he said actually, I have just the quote here. He said, "It's really about the feeling of being completely alone." That's Solus Project. Looking at some screens now, it looks interesting and different and might be kind of good. I don't know if you guys saw this at E3. If you did, what are your thoughts? Is this something that you're interested in? Is it enough to go out and get this, or are you just going to play everything that's on the PlayStation? Nintendo. I don't know what to say about Nintendo. I feel like, maybe you might remember this, before they announced the Wii, the first Wii, when it was called the Revolution, and there was another name before that, if I remember correctly. Before they announced that, they said they were going to stop making consoles, just focus on handhelds, and do third-party stuff. So just make games, which meant we would have had Mario on, on PlayStation and on Xbox, and that would have been awesome. They make really good first-party games, they always have, but they didn't do that. They made consoles, and we all know how that's turned out. And while I like the Wii U, it's a pretty cool console. As usual, there aren't enough games to play. There's just not enough third-party support. One thing I'm looking forward to most from Nintendo right now is Super Mario Maker. If you haven't heard of this yet, it's basically a level designer for Mario, for 2D side-scrolling Mario, which includes Super Mario World. So you're going to get the graphics packages from the 8-bit Super Mario Brothers, as well as Super Mario World graphics, which is really cool. And you'll be able to, make all these levels and share them with the community. So there's going to be an infinite number of new Mario levels being made. And of course, some of them are going to be terrible, but there's going to probably be some really, really great stuff coming out. That game drops in September, and it's coming preloaded with 100 levels. That's more than ever existed on any of the games when they first came out. So that's really, really exciting. And if you don't have a Wii U, it might not be enough to get you to buy one, but if you do have a Wii U, this has got to be a must-have title for the Nintendo Wii U coming out this September. Can't wait to play it. If you're a fan of the Lego games, the newest offering that I am excited about is called Dimensions, and it takes a bunch of the worlds that Lego has licensed and mashes them all together, which is cool in and of itself. But even cooler is the announcement that came just a couple days ago that they're adding Doctor Who to LEGO Dimensions. Peter Capaldi, the actor, the Scottish actor who's playing the most recent Doctor, as well as the young lady that plays Clara, are lending their voices to this. There's going to be at least one whole specific level dedicated to Doctor Who, so you're going to have Daleks and Cybermen, and it's going to be really, really cool. But the coolest part isn't even that there's a playable TARDIS in the game, but that when you die, if you're the Doctor when you die, you will regenerate into the original Doctor, and every time you die, you will regenerate into the next Doctor, all the way through the Doctors, thereby allowing you to play as all of the Doctors. And each time you switch Doctors, the interior of the TARDIS will change to represent the way it looked when that particular Doctor was flying around in the TARDIS. If that isn't cool, I don't know what is. And I was already excited for this game to begin with, but now it's reached a new level of excitement for me. This game also drops in September, so a lot of big stuff this September coming for gaming. Does the name Amy Hennig ring any bells? Probably not, but when I tell you who she is, you'll be excited for what she's doing next. Amy Hennig was the creative director and writer on the first 3 Uncharted games over at Naughty Dog. She also worked at Crystal Dynamics, and she was responsible for the first Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver on PlayStation. If you played that, you remember how incredibly freaking awesome it was. One of my favorite games from that generation of gaming. She is now over at Disney and working on the new, as yet untitled Star Wars game in the vein of Uncharted. This is a good thing for Star Wars. All the people who were worried about what was going to happen to the gaming. Now, this isn't 1313, which was announced a couple years ago and got scrapped when the merger happened, or the purchase happened from Disney and LucasArts and Lucasfilm. So it's not that. That's what they're saying. It's not that. It's an unnamed title. But whatever it is, knowing that we have someone like Amy Hennig at the reins of this project is really exciting. And when they say it's in the veins of Uncharted, I'm assuming that means it's a third-person action-adventure game. Which is kind of what 1313 looked like. So when they say it's not 1313, I don't know if that's really true. I guess we're going to find out probably here pretty soon. I would imagine in the next couple months they're going to announce it. Really, really cool stuff. Staying in the vein of Star Wars, the alpha for Star Wars Battlefront, probably my most anticipated game this year, which also drops in September. The alpha is up for PC gamers, and I know that all the people who are playing it have signed an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. They can't share any of the details or talk much about it. But if you're out there and you're playing it, you know, private message me and let me know what you think. I'm sure it's awesome. I'm very, very plussed at all the footage I've seen from Star Wars Battlefront so far. Are you going to be getting it? And if so, what console are you going to be getting it on? Or are you a Master Race only person and getting it on PC? Let me know. I'd love to hear. And if you are getting it on PlayStation 4, like I will be doing, drop me your gamer tag and we can get together and play some Battlefront this September. It's going to be a lot of fun. So this is sort of TV related-ish, kind of. You'll know what I mean. Did you ever watch Avatar The Last Airbender or Avatar The Legend of Korra? First of all, if you haven't done that, just do that. Like as soon as possible, because it's absolutely worth doing. Yeah, do that. So if you have already done that, then you may already know about this, but if you don't, check this out. The creators of Avatar The Last Airbender, Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko, are moving on to some new projects, just announced at San Diego Comic-Con here over here in California. Can't talk still. Words and stuff with the mouth forming can be difficult when you're in front of a thing, talking to the people. I'll get better at it. Just give me time. Patience is a virtue. What are we talking about? Michael DiMartino. That's it. So Michael DiMartino is working on a novel series called Geniuses. So he's writing some books, fictional prose. Sounds pretty interesting. All the links to this stuff will be in the show notes on YouTube, so if you need to link out to it, just go to YouTube, go down below the video, and click on the links, and you'll go right to this stuff. But he's working on a novel series, and his co-creator of Avatar, Brian Konietzko, is working on his debut graphic novel, and it is called Thread Worlds, and it sounds really awesome, and I don't have to tell you anything about either one of them because it's Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko, and they're freaking incredible, and their imagination is amazing and boundless, and whatever they make is probably going to be awesome, so you should totally check this stuff out. Even though it's not television, it's from people who made great television, and therefore you should watch it. I mean read it. Well, watch the other things, but then read these things as they come out, and support great art because you should do that because it's awesome and we need more of it. As I mentioned already, I think Comic-Con in San Diego is going on right now as I'm recording this video, and I'm not there, obviously. That sucks for me, and for you too, because I would be showing you some really, 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 really rad stuff from Comic-Con, because there's always rad stuff at Comic-Con, because it's Comic-Con and Comic-Con's awesome. If you've never been, you should go. It's great. But I've been watching this stuff coming out of Comic-Con. There's been some really cool stuff. There was that giant Lego, not life-size, but giant Lego Hulk with fighting the Hulkbuster Iron Man armor. Really cool, all made out of Legos. Great stuff. And it is a new show coming to Vimeo called Con Man, and it stars none other than our beloved Hoban Washburn, Alan Tudyk. And it's about an actor who was on this really awesome sci-fi show about a decade ago that was canceled way too early. And he goes on to do other things, but never really finds what he wants in his life because of that thing being the best thing, and everything else is kind of okay. And he's always kind of living in the shadow of his former co-star, who in Con Man is played by this guy, what's his name? Nathan Fillion. If you've heard of him or not before. I'm not going to tell you anything else. That's all you need to know. It's written and directed by Alan Tudyk. You can pre-purchase access to it on Vimeo for $15 right now, which is steal. If you watch the trailer, which you should be doing as soon as this is done, me talking is over, you should watch the video for Con Man. Once again, all the links for the stuff we're talking about will be in the show notes on YouTube. Or just use the Googles and type in Con space Man, and you'll find it, because, you know, it's new. Are you rolling? Oh. I should put that down. I don't have to put that down. I can hold on to that. I can have a cup in my hand. It's a thing. Let's talk about books. Let's talk about books, baby. I love books. Books are awesome. I've been reading a lot more lately, and I think it's because I just had a kid, and he's almost 9 months old, and I've already started thinking about him getting to that point where he's reading a lot, and so I'm increasing my collection so that he has just this amazing library of awesome things to read. Also, I love to read, and I haven't been reading nearly enough in the last few years, and so it's just been a really good timing for me to start reading again. This might come as a surprise to some of you. I've never before read a Philip K. Dick book. Crazy, right? Philip K. Dick, if you don't know, is responsible for writing the book that became Blade Runner. He was also responsible for the book Minority Report and A Scanner Darkly, all of which became pretty awesome flicks. I read one that I wasn't familiar with in any way. It's called A Maze of Death, and it's only like 188 pages. If you've never read Philip K. Dick, it's a great place to start because it's a quick, easy read. His prose is wonderful and definitely missing from the sci-fi community. He died back in like the early 80s, which is really unfortunate, but he's awesome. And this is a really kick-ass book. If you want something quick to read that's really cool and interesting, check out A Maze of Death by Philip K. Dick. Right after that, I read this book called Lexicon. It's about words and how they can be weapons. It's very interesting. It's a thriller. It's not very long. So many pages. I don't know how many. I didn't count them. But they're numbered, and you can find out by looking inside of the book. It's very, very good. I highly recommend it. You should totally check out Lexicon if you're looking for something new to read. Oh, hi there. Are you still here? Okay, well, the show's over. That was all of it. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be doing a new one every week, every Friday, and hopefully posting on Friday as well. If you liked the show, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Check us out on Facebook. Just search for weekly stuff and things on Facebook. You'll find us right away. And if you want to follow the things I do and say on Twitter, you can do that at Ruybal Rants. Ruibal's my last name. If you did not know, you know now. Today you learned my last name is Ruybal. At Ruybal Rants. I don't post a lot on Twitter, so, you know, it's really easy to go ahead and just add me because I'm not going to bother your feed. Some people post a crapload of things and most of them are unnecessary. I don't do that. I only post when I'm either replying to someone or I feel like I have something important to say, which isn't very often, as you probably know. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day wherever you are, and I'm glad that you stuck around and watched this episode of Weekly Stuff and Things with me, Mathew Ruybal, Stig on the camera, beautiful Texas in the background. I'll see you guys next week. Be safe, make good choices. Roll camera!